who are we to tell Romeo what he can and when he can say something about his own dad that caused harm to him? Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
So what's going on, you all? We all have seen the post. We've seen the conversation about Romeo calling out his dad and Master P. Girl, it has been messy boots. In the words of my big mouth sister, Dr. Simone from Married to Medicine, it has been very messy boots, but a needed conversation. I've actually been very curious of what Romeo had to say about his dad, because it is a conversation that I have with myself and others about, our parents are not perfect, and sometimes they need to be called out and called to the carpet. If anybody needs to be taking notes on this, it needs to be Candy Burris, okay? Because Mama Joyce, Kurt, you got some explaining to do for your history. But this is a very serious conversation. Master P, his whole response to his son has not been fatherly. It has not been adult-like. And I feel like a lot of folks are offering him grace, and a lot of people are mad at the son without understanding that that's his dad. So Romeo posted on Instagram that he felt some type of way about his father giving, all this, nice things to say about mental illness and, death by suicide and all that other stuff about somebody he didn't even know, versus when it came to his own daughter, there was no conversation, there was no nothing. It was kind of like swept under the rug. So immediately folks were telling Romeo, this is not the right time. This is not the time to do this. Don't do it. And I actually hate when people say it's not the right time. It's never the right time to do it. Just do it. It's never the right time. There is no perfect time to do things. Just do it. But let's be talking about branding and PR thing. Have a conversation with me. But I felt like it was necessary. He called out Master P. Master P, responded. And, basically just like all the things I've done for you, kind of just like supported the conversation that was going on, that Romeo was spoiled, entitled, and all the other stuff. And Master P said he felt like, everybody wants him to be a ATM machine. Everybody in the family wants him to be an ATM machine. And apparently Romeo was not feeling that at all. And he posted a whole, I think it's now deleted, a whole post where he explained that he for years thought that his father had owned Rap Snacks, and that was a lie. He said he had to find out, and he posted that he had a conversation with the people over at Rap Snacks that he was going to start getting his first check. So he said he'd been promoting this brand for 15 years or whatever, how many years, for free, with no payment and stuff, and no nothing, no anything. And apparently it looked like his dad was, collecting the checks from it. So, girl, we don't know Master P. We do not know that man other than what we've seen, with how he's been able to take, No Limit Records, all the folks, like all that other stuff. That's all we know about Master P from movies, from him, being this mogul. Like he was one of the folks I remember growing up listening to him. I remember he was the moment. And he's been able to build a career off hey, I have, successful family. My family is doing stuff. My son is out here doing this and that. And, I take care of my black folks. I do this, And Romeo is giving us a peek behind the curtain and seeing that a lot of this stuff is not true. So this is Romeo's response. And I was actually shook. When I read this, he said, I would just like to thank James and Taylor of Rap Snacks for seeking the truth and doing proper business. This year I will get my first Rap Snacks check and finally start receiving my earnings from my bags. I was told as a kid that we own Rap Snacks and that my payday would come after we put in work and sold the company. Silly me. I promoted a company for free for 15 plus years based on the word of my pops without being allowed to see any contracts or even meet with the team, and I stayed loyal. But I'm entitled and ungrateful now, only addressing this because my father is trying to gaslight and break me instead of taking accountability of his mistakes/greed. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. My mental is very strong because I do the work, but no man or woman should live a lie to protect another. My stand isn't about money, it's about the perception of money. Hey, my father knows that I've made the most earnings over the past 10 years and played my part quietly as So my father knows that I've made the most earnings over the past 10 years and played my part quietly as always so he could shine. In the time the truth would prevail and I would believe in time the truth would prevail and I believe when my father truly leans on only God and not image and money, he will be the richest man in the world if that's what his heart's desire. None of y'all love my father more than me. I know my sister's passing was a warning, and just like Moses in the Bible, the man that leads the people out isn't always allowed to the promised land because of his own ego. Don't have to be perfect, but I cannot follow someone who's been blinded. Y'all make fun of me because y'all think I was raised a certain way, but I was built for this season of ridicule and misunderstanding. I'm willing to be judged and walk through the fire for my family in hopes of a great leader waking up. I reached out behind closed doors and got burnt repeatedly. He's an adult and has to do the honest work as well. Like I told him, I have to love from a distance until then. I have a family now too, and it's critical I protect my peace. No more suffering and silence. The rise of the Phoenix. Girl, he's giving very much X-Men. Okay. I love this post. I feel like there's some truth to it, a lot of truth to it. I can believe it. And just to be told from a very young age, that stuff, like Romeo is not making this stuff up. This stuff is like, it's sounding on brand. And he posted receipts of him speaking to someone from the team or whoever from Rap Snacks and him now collecting his check and stuff and all of that. So he knew nothing. He went on the word of his father. That's why I don't go off of even when it comes to business relationships, I like to show things for what they are. I don't trust my word. Here is the receipts because I don't want you being able to craft no narrative or anything but this is his dad that we're talking about. His father, someone who raised him, someone who taught him the game and was also stealing from him. It be your own family. That's why I be trying to tell y'all family don't mean nothing to me. The word family or blood, that means absolutely nothing to me. It's based off our connection and how I feel about you. If I want you to be my true family, I'm not going off of that. Man, this is the perfect example of this. Romeo was trusting in his father based off of him just being dad. And come to find out his dad was messing him over. Have been messing him over. He said this is only the tip of the iceberg. So he kind of just laying it out and saying that he's done a lot for his father. He's been using his money to make his daddy shine, and Master P has been taking advantage of it. I'm not surprised. Most of these celebrities are broke. Let me just tell you this, girl, just complete honest. This stuff is real. I think this is probably the most nervous I've been since I've been in my career. At any point, the recession, this stuff makes me nervous because if folks are not spending money, if folks are not out here taking trips, spending money on things, the less money that y'all spend, the less advertisers are going to spend money on stuff. And the less money they spend on advertisers, the less money I make. So this is some real stuff girl, yes, I ain't, doing good. But this shit can be gone within a second. Fantasia talked about in the interview not too long ago, she said that she had 2 points when she was at her lowest. She was at her lowest. She had to rebuild herself. There's been other celebrities and stuff who went through, bankruptcy and all the other stuff. It is real out here, especially if you are taking more money in than you are receiving in. And I don't think people understand that. Yes, some folks can be getting paid $20 million a year, but they out here spending $15, $17 million a year. That ain't good. It's it don't matter. Yes, they got more stuff, but they also have way more debt. They have way more debt. So yes, girl, rich folks can be cash poor too. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Money is not real. That's a whole nother conversation. I don't feel like getting into that too much. But yes, people make money off of appearing that they have money. It's very complicated. I'm not one of them folks girl, I ain't got it. And that's just what it is. Girl, I ain't got it. And I ain't finna be spending. There's some stuff I ain't doing right now. Girl, I would love to do some other things. I ain't got it going. And it just is what it is. But I believe this, and I don't have an issue with the child calling out the parent. I don't think there's nothing wrong with the child calling out the parent and letting the parent know, this is not right. Now, folks are saying that Romeo waited to the wrong time. This is not it. You don't do this over social media. But this is where Romeo has the most like capital on social media, because now he is calling out and bringing a conversation that his dad does not want to have. Like, he can manipulate the situation in private. His dad cares more about his image. Because I can see Romeo having a conversation with his dad and just like, hey, like, what's going on? His dad probably, he's in more position of power on social media, revealing that behind the curtain, we're all looking in and peeping and seeing, oh, Master P ain't who he say he is. Like, that hurts Master P's image and his brand, and he's retaliating. He's responding back, and he's basically saying, oh, all my family thinks I'm an ATM machine, and da da da. But girl, you've been out here making withdrawals from respectively through Romeo's career. So what's going on? Because it seems like Romeo been making more deposits, and you've been taking more money. Like, I don't think it's wrong. Like, I think a lot of folks were coming online saying that Romeo was wrong for calling his dad, stop bringing mess to social media, da-da-da-da. Like, that man can do whatever the hell he wants to. That is his dad. Then you got Benzino, no neck having ass, sticking his neck in the conversation, trying to talk about, this is how I feel, and da-da-da-da. How are you going to tell this man, how are you going to sit up here and tell this man about his own experience with his biological father? You got to be stupid. You got to be stupid. Your own daughter don't even like you like that. Your own daughter has called you out. That's really messed up for a child not to like their parent. As an adult, you don't see that happen a lot. You don't see that happen a lot. Like, if for a parent not to have a good relationship with their child, something is wrong. Something is wrong. Like, me and my mother have the best relationship right now. We bumped heads a long time ago, back in, like, I can't remember when it was. But me and my mother have a very strong relationship. I don't talk to her every day because she's my mother and I have to. I talk to my mother every day because I love her and I love talking to her. That's what's important to me. It's not that, oh, she's my mama, I need to check in. Because, girl, I don't have the best relationship with my grandmamas, and I don't talk to them like that. And I don't care to talk to them like that. And you're not going to make me feel bad for not talking to them. I want to have a conversation. I don't even talk to my aunties and stuff like that. I talk to who I want to talk to. And if everybody else should be starting taking, because that's how y'all be letting folks who don't mean no good in y'all lives, and y'all have connections with them, and y'all be having all this drama and stuff that you don't need to have because this is family. Girl, they fuck my family, period. Like, they fuck my husband. Like, girl, this y'all not learn from soul food. Like, that's not gonna be me. Like, I'm not gonna let my family take me through there. Even my mama know, I tell her, like, we'll be having conversation, and sometimes I'll be, talking a little bit. She'll talk about her bad days. She'll go on and on. Like, all right, Linda, like, this is a lot. This is a lot. And I have to tell her, like, hey, and we understand that. And I'm respectful to her, about several things. Like, and I love that type of relationship. It makes me happy. But I'm not going to be out here just doing it for the sake of this is my mother and I have to talk to her. And I think a lot of people need to understand that, because even going back looking at how Candy allows her mother to talk trash about her husband and how she allowed her mama to talk bad about her husband in the past, there's no way in the hell my mama would do no mess like that. There's no way in the hell. I had a whole conversation about that on Patreon. It's something my mama did that I had to call her out on, but I ain't gonna do Linda like that. I would do her behind the paywall, period. Come on, private access. But yeah, I just don't think that our parents are perfect. Like, our parents are not perfect. Even going back to Scrappy and Mama D, when Mama D, was, refusing almost to apologize to Scrappy. When Scrappy was having a moment on Love and Hip Hop, he had everybody on the cast crying almost. When Scrappy talked about his relationship with his mama and living in a whorehouse and all the things and the stuff that his mom was doing to survive, to make money, but she just didn't want to acknowledge that it was messed up. Like, she kept saying, well, I did the best I could. That's your best ain't good enough. Your scores are 4. Period. My scores are 4. Your best ain't good enough. Say, I'm sorry. Say, I'm sorry. Just say that. Like there's some stuff, like, even for queer parents, I think, especially for queer people, and I talked about this more on Patreon because it's more in depth, but like, even for people who are for parents who are raising queer children, and were very violently homophobic and all the other stuff, or whatever. I have my own experiences of homophobia with my family and my parents and stuff. like, I don't hold it against them, but I do appreciate them acknowledging that they could have did better in the past. I respect that, and I feel like that for a lot of queer folks, they had to understand that their parents are not perfect because their parents were making mistakes about their sexuality or their gender or how they present themselves. So they had to understand, like, I love my parents, but my parents are not perfect because they don't understand, because you have these parents be like, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? What did I do? And it's just like, girl, this has got nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with me. But how you're trying to raise me and raise me up is just not something that I identify with, something that is not a part of who I am. And I'm not interested in performing for you. So I think when I talk to queer folks, when I talk to, folks in the trans community and stuff, like, they have to understand from an early age that their parents are not perfect. A lot of them had to move out of the house and stuff. And I think, listening to Romeo, he had a long time, like, as a cishet man, believing that his dad was perfect and he idolized his father, the same as everybody else does. But it took him a long time to realize something is not right. And Master P needs to atone for his stuff that he did to his son. He needs to apologize for that. But his ego is too big, his pride is too huge to just acknowledge and say, you know what, I should do better. Because for him to acknowledge that will mean that he isn't even the person who he pretends to be to himself. And I think that is the true T. Like, because he will not be able to lie to himself anymore. Because the facade is gone. I don't believe Master P got the coin like that. I think he has been siphoning off, money from his son and stuff. So, that's a conversation. But Romeo is not wrong. Romeo is not wrong for calling out his dad. And honestly, a lot of us need to be doing that to our parents and our loved ones. And maybe our relationships would be better and be healthy instead of just being built off of this is family. Period.